records probe. President Fattah al-Sisi said Cairo exerted concentrated efforts to contain developments on the ground in Gaza and prevent the expansion of confrontation and military operations. This came during a call he received from Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid. During the call, al-Sisi said it is important to capitalize on the current calm atmosphere and cut the road before any attempt to recreate tensions in the occupied West Bank or Gaza. He said swift steps are needed to improve living conditions in Gaza Strip and economic ties with the Palestinian Authority, as well as to support Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. President Sisi said Cairo is looking forward to renew Palestinian hopes for peace. And dear viewers, now we will move to watch a press conference by Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli.
All countries in the world are suffering, especially even the developed countries before the developing countries. The energy rationalization of consumption, and we in Egypt, as you all may know, we are taking different measures. We try as possible to deal with these crises. The instructions of the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to launch exceptional social package was approved. We explained to you before, by the end of this month or even in September, we will enforce this package to relieve the burden over the Egyptian citizen. We took different steps to reduce pressure, especially resources of hard currencies. This is the pressure over the basic commodities imported, like oil products, basic commodities like wheat and other basic commodities, the bill of which is doubled different time. And for this reason, we were moving a long time ago, and I'm going to speak about this in this conference. We are going to explain for you this challenge. How can we address this issue? How to increase our resources of hard currencies? Egypt is having a clear plan to increase export, enhance the domestic industries. Suez Canal is achieving unprecedented records. We are supporting tourism in light of the challenges facing this sector. The Egyptian state is taking big strides to increase the hard currencies. We try to reduce the import during last times. We were considering how to maximize the benefits of our natural resources. If we maximize them, we can be able to provide hard currencies, and the most important is natural gas. Egypt, and here I would like to say something important. The strategic vision, as cleared by the President to the government 3 or 4 years ago, when we expanded our investment in the production and the supply of natural gas, the most important of which is Zohr well, and to shortcut the enforcement time by less than the half to make use of this resource. Egypt, since we launched this, well, we were importing natural gas. Can you imagine, without this vision and the keenness of the President to operate this project as soon as possible, it was possible currently to have additional burden caused by the importation of natural gas. That's why this is an added value for Egypt, meets the domestic demand, and we can export as well. This is why we are working on maximizing the natural resources and increasing the export. In last October, we agreed with the Ministry of Electricity, Ministry of Petroleum, that more than 60% of our production of natural gas is allocated for power plants, for our electricity we are using in our daily life. We need to consider this point. The more we can rationalize the natural gas use in power plants, the more opportunities we will get to export and to get hard currencies. Last October, we considered the power plant to be operated by other types of fuel like mazot or whatever, and to save the natural gas and to export the natural gas. We succeeded in this with the Ministry of Electricity and Ministry of Petroleum since last October, and we replaced the fuel consumed in power plants. We managed to have surplus that we can export from 100 to 150 million US dollars monthly. It's just a rationalization of resources without any other measures. What happens currently is that the natural gas prices increased. The US dollar rate increased. This is additional pressure. It was logic to increase the rates of electricity. That may force the citizens to rationalize the use, but the president was very keen not to affect on vulnerable categories and the low classes of citizens with regard to the electricity use. We postponed this decision 6 months, but it was necessary as a state and a government to consider. We need to achieve our targets in light of the amount supplied to power plants. How can be able to have surplus? And let me tell you that the average is 15% of natural gas supplied to power plants. So we need to save this percentage, 15% of the natural gas throughout the whole year. The more we can save, the more we can export, the more hard currency we can get to alleviate the hard currency pressure. Therefore, the cabinet was discussing this issue in last time, and we found that it is important to take other measures currently to alleviate the pressure over electricity. Before mentioning the measures, I would like to clear for the citizens how we subsidize electricity. 60% of natural gas is for power plants to generate electricity. Let me tell you that the rate of natural gas set by the government for electricity is 1 million of unit equals $3. The natural gas used for power generation, 1 million unit equals $3. The current rate of this 1 million unit The international rate is 30 US dollars. What does that mean? The natural gas we save for electricity, we supply for electricity, we are supplying it by 10% of the international rates. That happened in usual rates before the current crisis, and this is part of the support we as a state can carry. Can you imagine? The more we can save from power plants for 1 million units, we can get 10 times double the rate we are using with power generation. That means an even electricity rate used by the government and declared, and we postpone any increases to next year. It is subsidized, as we are using the old rate, the 10% of the international rate. As Dr. Shakir said, supposedly if we are going to use the real rate, we should have doubled the rate by 5 times. And also the exchange rate is changing. We are explaining to you how we are subsidizing your consumption. The real value before exchange rate, we were having 16 Egyptian pounds per US dollars, and the cost of the generation is 109 piastres. The 3 low classes, starting from 48 piastres to 58 and then 72. These are the first categories. We are supplying the first 2 categories by half of the rate. Exchange rate affected on the electricity rate, and it increased to 119. Can you imagine? The country is paying for this instead of the citizen. Therefore, today we are taking steps, and the main one, how can we save the most of the natural gas used for power plants to get more hard currencies and to alleviate the pressure. That's why the cabinet took measures, and we started, or we set a plan. We finished a meeting with relevant ministers, and the day after tomorrow we are going to declare executive measures that are going to be enforced from next week. The most important is the rationalization of power use in government facilities. Once the official working hours are ended, power is going to be cut for most of the facilities, and even the computers, the servers, and the other facilities, we will keep them, but others not. We will stop lighting, external lighting for government facilities. I'm speaking about lighting of the buildings. The government facilities are not going to use external light. We will reduce street lighting and main corridors in coordination with governorates, Ministry of Electricity, Ministry of Housing. We have a plan to reduce the lighting in the streets, to reduce the electricity use and rationalize these. We started already in some squares Tahrir Square, we stopped the lightning there. Some other public facilities enforced these measures, but in next week we will have a comprehensive enforcement in coordination with other officials to implement this measure. And also we will strongly enforce in summertime the malls and the commercial activities. It's 11 p.m. and the most important, there would be instruction for malls, those who are using central air conditioning, to use 25 and more, not less. That would save huge amount of power. We also had coordinated with the Ministry of Youth the lightening of major facilities of the ministry to rationalize and to close bigger stadiums and all other sport facilities, to stop lightning in stadiums and the big sport facilities. I'm not speaking about social clubs or gardens. I'm referring to the big facilities that are consuming a huge amount of light. Ministry of Electricity and Ministry of Petroleum very soon are going to restructure the operation of the plants. The priority would be for the ones that are using less natural gas and produce the maximum amount of electricity. For example, Siemens power plants, those we can use them more, and we developed the transfer network of electricity, and we can transfer this electricity anywhere in the country. We are moving in these different directions to save more natural gas and to be able to export and to alleviate the pressure over during this crisis specifically. This is unprecedented increase in the rates. There are other measures we consider in coming days that may be more strict to rationalize the electricity consumption. We are taking initiative and declare them before you. Our objective, and this is to conclude, our objective is to let Egyptian people feel the crisis the whole world is suffering from, and Egypt is part of this world. And our objective, and I ask all people to consider the issue again and to rationalize the use of electricity. Each one of you has a role to play. The more we can reduce the consumption, the more we can get for saving hard currency. This is very important. We need to work together, united. We don't know when exactly this crisis is going to end. That's why the more we are going to save, the more opportunities we will get to export the natural gas and to save hard currencies for us to alleviate the pressure of importation. I thank you very much for being patient, for listening to me carefully, and again, we ask all Egyptian citizens to help the government and to be united with us to achieve this national objective in this time. Rationalize the use of power to be able to save other resources like natural gas, which is a gift and it is important resource for us all. Thank you very much.
Welcome back, dear viewers. That was a press conference for Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, in which he talked about the important measures being prepared to lighten pressure on electricity and cut consumption. He said that electricity is unprecedentedly backed by the state. Madbouli said that the first and second consumer brackets pay half electricity price. The Prime Minister also said that we rationalize electricity consumption after work day, but for 24-hour work facilities. He also said that strategy includes rationalizing electricity in clubs, stadiums, sports unions. Madbouli also said that the government is working on re-engineering operations at electricity power stations, and that they are also working on alleviating dollar burdens resulting from international power crisis. And dear viewers, back to our Panorama news and the political segment. And President Fattah al-Sisi said that Cairo exerted concentrated efforts to contain developments on the ground in Gaza and prevent the expansion of confrontation and military operations. This came during a call he received from Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid. During the call, President Sisi said it is important to capitalize on the current calm atmosphere and cut the road before any attempt to recreate tensions in the occupied West Bank or Gaza. He said swift steps are needed to improve living conditions in Gaza Strip and economic ties with the Palestinian Authority, as well as to support Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. President Sisi said Cairo is looking forward to renew Palestinian hopes for peace and for taking back their legitimate rights according to international references. For his part, Lapid reportedly expressed appreciation for the successful mediation by Cairo during the past days. And Egyptian permanent representative to the UN Security Council said it is important to stop all forms of Israeli practices in the occupied territories, especially settlement expansion. This came during UN Security Council session over Israeli aggression in Gaza. He said it is also important to allow goods into Gaza and provide needed finances for reconstruction of territories. UN Middle East Peace Process Coordinator Thor Winsland praised Cairo's role in reaching ceasefire in Gaza. He said that the Egyptian efforts has prevented a full-blown war and allowed for delivering humanitarian assistance. The Strip's people need Palestine's permanent representative to the UN also said Cairo's effort to cease aggression on the Gaza Strip are valued. He said the Israeli aggression on Gaza is unjustified and that the real reason behind it are the upcoming Israeli elections. He called for serious work to provide international protection for Palestinian people. And Israeli occupation forces killed 3 Palestinians and injured dozens more in a shootout Tuesday during an arrest operation in the city of Nablus in the occupied West Bank. The shootout came a day after a ceasefire ended 3 days of fighting between Israel and Palestinian Jihad group in the Gaza Strip. Israeli police said forces encircled the home of Ibrahim al-Nabulsi, who they claim was wanted for a string of shootings in West Bank earlier this year. It confirmed that al-Nabulsi and another Palestinian were killed in a shootout at the scene. And Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli said the Maspero Triangle is one of the distinguished projects which the Egyptian state has been keen to develop, as it had been an unsafe informal settlement. Madbouli said the project provides suitable housing for the people and is a comprehensive civilized project at the highest level aimed at changing the whole map of the region after completing development work. During his inspection tour of the zone, he said partner countries have addressed their commitments to develop the area without any harm to its inhabitants, owners or renters. He said it is important to commit to technical specifications of implementation of the best quality and to the swift completion of work in housing towers in the project to bring the inhabitants back to the area. First Lady Mrs. Intisar Sisi expressed grief over the death of actress Raga Hussain, who passed away this morning after a long battle with illness at the age of 83. She said the late actor left behind good memories and was able to entertain the Arab audience with a classy art and distinguished style, adding that she was a pure Egyptian who was loyal to her nation, family and art. The First Lady had honored the late actor in a celebration dubbed Egyptian Woman Icon and handed her the Shield of Excellence on the occasion of International Women's Day in March 2022. Yemen's internationally recognized